Okay, we'll continue our work with expressions. Simplifying an expression. I do this differently than the book we are using. In these types of problems, you do not usually get a number answer. You get a number and a variable, or maybe just a variable. Sometimes you do just get a number answer, but not usually. You are going to do as much math as you possibly can. This involves distributing, if there's parentheses, and or combining like terms. So in our first example, we don't have any parentheses, so let's identify our like terms. Negative 20x is a like term with negative 8x. When I combine those, I get negative 28x. Negative 15 is a like term with negative 15. Negative 15 combined with negative 15 is negative 30. I cannot combine these because they are not like terms. I cannot solve because there's no equal sign. Negative 28x minus 30 is my answer. I have numbers and variables. In my second example, I have a set of parentheses. There's a multiplication here. Usually you will see that without the multiplication. So what I'm going to do is distribute the 4. And it's a negative 4 because the sign goes with the number. So my original negative 18x stays negative 18x. When I distribute negative 4 with 2x, I get negative 8x. I'll write that in green. Negative 4 times a positive 5 is a negative 20. And then minus 12 I'll keep in blue. Now I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 18x and negative 8x are like terms because they both have the x variable. I get negative 26x. Negative 20 and negative 12 are like terms. I combine those, I get negative 32. I cannot combine these terms since they are not like. My answer is negative 26x minus 32. Continuing with our examples. In number 3, I have a whole bunch of parentheses. In the first example, or first part, I have negative parenthesis. That's like having a negative 1 here. So I'm going to distribute. In my second set of parentheses, I also have negative. So that's a negative 1. I will distribute. And then I have negative 6 parentheses. Okay, so none of this will remain original. I will get negative 1 times negative 3x is 3x. Negative 1 times 4, negative 4. Negative 1 times negative 2x, positive 2x. Negative 1 times negative 3, positive 3. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. Now I'll combine my like terms. I have 3x plus 2x minus 6x. That would be 5x minus 6x would give me a negative 1x. My other like terms are negative 4 with positive 3 and positive 6. That would give me a positive 5. Those are not like terms, so I do not combine them. My answer is negative 1x plus 5, or you could just write negative x plus 5. In the next example, I actually have parentheses inside of brackets. When you have parentheses inside of brackets, or what's called nested parentheses, you work from inside out. So I'm going to do the parentheses 3x minus 4. I can't combine those. So the only way to get rid of those parentheses is to distribute the negative 2. Okay, so my negative 10x minus 4 bracket negative 5. All stays the same. I'm not doing anything with those yet. When I distribute the negative 2, I have negative 6x plus 8. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Okay, now in my parentheses, I have like terms. Negative 5 and positive 8 are like terms. So I will have negative 10x minus 4 bracket. Negative 5 and 8 is a 3. I'll do that in a different color. Minus 6x. I have my brackets. 3 minus 6x cannot be combined because they are not like terms. So to get rid of the parentheses, I'm going to distribute the negative 4. So I will have negative 10x minus 12. Negative 4 times negative 6x is a positive 24x. And then I'm going to combine my variable terms. Negative 10x and positive 24x is going to give me a positive 14x, and then minus 12 doesn't have anything to combine with, so it just comes down. Number 5, I have a couple sets of parentheses. I'm going to distribute the 4. Since inside my parentheses there are no like terms, the only way to get rid of the parentheses is to distribute. In my second set, I see I have a minus parenthesis. That's like having a negative 1. When I distribute, I have negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative 6x is positive 24x. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Negative 1x, negative 3, minus 2. Combine your like terms. We have negative 12x, positive 24x, and negative 1x. Those combine to give me an 11x. And my other like terms are negative 20, negative 3, and negative 2 combine to give me a negative 25. These are not like terms. They cannot be combined. That is my answer. Okay, this next section is working with practicing on using your calculator. So you can go ahead and pause the video, use your calculator. When you're done, you can unpause and come back for the answers. Let's see if I have my calculator with me. There we go. All right. I will do these in parts so that you can follow along in case you don't get the final correct answer. When you put negative 6.3 quantity squared into your calculator, make sure to put parentheses. Otherwise, your calculator will not include the negative and you will get a wrong answer there. Now the 7.2 would not have a parenthesis around the negative because 7.2 is the base. All right, in my parentheses, this would happen first. All right, so let's do this. Negative 6.3 squared. Let's write this over here. I will get 39.69 minus 7.2 squared, 51.84, plus I have 16.24 is the original, minus, when I do this multiplication, I get 9.398. When I do my parentheses, I get 6.82, 6.842. And then when you combine all of those, I get negative 5.308. Next example, you can just type it the way you see it onto your calculator. Remember that the negative sign is not the minus button. I get negative 21.753. Next page. Now to type this into your calculator, instead of doing it in pieces, make sure to put parentheses around the top and parentheses around the bottom. I actually will do the top. I get 12.1956. I could have done this in just one step. I decided to write it separately, numerator, denominator. The denominator, I get a negative 3. And my final answer is negative 4.0652. Okay, in my next problem, I could type it the way it is into my calculator. I think I will actually just do that. 165.6534 divided by 13.21 minus parentheses 16.45 minus 3.2 times 4.1. 9.21. Okay, in this next part, we're looking at the critical thinking and logical reasoning. Okay. So they are telling you that the solution to the problem is wrong. You are supposed to explain why it is wrong. 36 divided by 3 times 3 would lead us to 36 divided by 9, which is 4. The problem is that they did a multiplication before division. But since the division came first in the problem, that is what I should do first. So the correct method for doing this problem is 36 divided by 3 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay. Next example. Six times 2x plus 3 becomes 12x plus 3. What is wrong? The 6 was not distributed to the 3. Correct method. Six times 2x is 12x. 6 times 3 is 18. 12x plus 18. Next example. 18 minus 8 times x minus 3 became 10. 18 minus 8 is 10 times x minus 3. Distributing the 10 is 10x minus 30. What's wrong? Well, they subtracted before they multiplied. So the correct method, notice here when I'm rewriting it, I'm not putting the multiplication sign between the 8 and the x, the 8 in the parentheses, because I don't need it, it's redundant. 18 minus 8x plus 24. Watch your signs. Negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24. Then I can combine like terms. 18 and positive 24 is 42 minus 8x. Or negative 8x plus 42. It doesn't matter which order, as long as you have the sign with the correct term. So if I write that the other way, excuse me, I could write it as negative 8x plus 42. All right, the next one. 6x minus 2x plus 5x is 9x. What's wrong? Well, they combine all of the numbers, 6, negative 2, and 5, to get 9. But 5 is not a variable term. It is not a like term. Cannot combine the 5 because it is not a like term with 6x minus 2x. Okay. Correct method is on the next page. I'll just write it here because it'll be easier to see. Let's do it in blue. 6x minus 2x plus 5. My only like terms are 6x minus 2x gives me 4x plus 5. Okay. Next page. X minus parentheses x minus 2 is negative 2. There's kind of a missing step here. There's a negative 1 here, and they're distributing. So they did x minus 2, and x minus x cancels. That's how they got their answer of negative 2. What's the error? There's a sign error. When distributing negative 1 times negative 2 should be 2, not negative 2. So x minus parentheses x minus 2 should give me x minus x plus 2, which gives me a positive 2. Okay, in the next section, I'm not asking you to solve. I'm asking you to explain how you would, or not solve, simplify. So I'm asking you how you would simplify. Not simplify, but explain. Okay. So the first thing I would do is distribute -4, and then I would combine like terms. In number 3, there's no parentheses to distribute. I would combine like terms. And I could even get more specific, combine like terms, 9x and -2x. Let me write it this way. 9x with -2x and -7 with -3. Okay, more explain problems. In number 3, I would distribute -5 and then I would combine like terms. In number 4, I would distribute -3 and combine like terms. In number 5, there's nothing in front of the front parentheses, so basically you're distributing a 1. And the second parenthesis, you're distributing -1. Distribute 1 for first set of parentheses. And -1 for second set, and then you would combine like terms. Okay, the next group of problems are simplifying or solving by performing the operations. So again, these could be calculator ones. Try to practice without a calculator. -64 minus 9 plus 12. Notice I'm going a little bit faster here and I combined a couple of steps. I did powers with multiplication. You can do that because the terms that had powers and the multiplication were completely separate from each other. Now I combine left to right, I get -73 plus 12. -61. Number 2, I have -36 plus 12 over 37 minus 25. I get -24 over 12, -2. Sometimes using your brain is faster than your calculator. Number 3 is familiar. We did this one earlier. -28x minus 30. Combining like terms. Number 4, I have -18x minus 8x minus 20 minus 12. Combine my like terms. I get negative 26x minus 32. That one looks familiar too. We might have some repeats here. Distribute negative 6, distribute 5, distribute negative 3. You get negative 6x plus 18 plus 20x minus 10 plus 12x, careful of your signs, minus 3. Now some people really like to rewrite this, putting like terms together. You can certainly do that if you'd like. Negative 6x plus 20x plus 12x. And then plus 18 minus 10 minus 3. We are using the associative property, the commutative property. And then combining like terms is a little easier because they're all right next to each other. I get 26x plus 5. Next page, I have a problem, real life application problem. The formula C equals 5/9 times F minus 32 is used to convert temperature measurements from Fahrenheit to Celsius. It looks like this next part got cut off. The formula F equals 9/5 C plus 32 is used to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Apply the correct formula to convert negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. Since I want to end up with Celsius, I'm going to use the top or the first equation. Celsius equals 5/9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. Well, instead of F, I'm going to put in negative 40. Because they told me what the Fahrenheit temperature is. Now, using order of operations, I am going to do my parentheses first. So that would be 5/9 times negative 72. Well, I can do that without my calculator because I know how fractions work. 5/9 times negative 72 over 1. 9 and 72 cancel. 5 times negative 8, negative 40 degrees Celsius. Apply the correct formula to convert negative 10 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. So I want to end up with Fahrenheit, which means I want to use that formula. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32. But instead of Celsius, I'm going to put in negative 10. And I'm going to go ahead and write it as a fraction because I'm going to multiply it by 9/5. Again, I can do that without my calculator. 5 and 10 cancel. So negative 9/5 times negative 10 is negative 18. Negative 18 plus 32 is 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that ends this section.